Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Welcome, dear listener, to Kardec Radio. Today we're talking about change, and this is actually a film, The Life Particle Effect, a film about discovering the true human potential. Isn't it what we're all talking about here at Kardec Radio? This film is really amazing because the cast goes from Yu-Chi Lee, Neil Donald Walsh, Stuart Hameroff, Mario Hardman, Melissa Kochi, Michael Munson, Dave Beale, who is actually here with us, honoring us with his very loving presence and transformative as well. And the cast also involves the Dr. Lee and Gerald Merrick. Lots of great people who have a lot of background to share with us. This film is about change, and change is possible. It's a film featuring the theory of life particles that offers a fresh perspective on who we are as human beings and what we are capable of. In essence, we are life particles, the inseparable unit of consciousness and energy. There is so much for us to learn about this film. It's bringing all the knowledge that we talk about week after week here at Kardec Radio, bringing to the mainstream society. We would recommend that you go to the website www.change/film.com and bring the screening to your own organization. And if you don't have an organization, you can buy their DVD, watch it at home, call your friends, make a Change the Life Particle Effect party, and talk about it, discuss. It has much to do with the Spiritist knowledge. It has everything to do with it. Because as we know, our dear codifier Allan Kardec, he actually talks about changes throughout his literature, especially when we go to question and answer 216 of the Spirit's book, when he asks about several things. And the answer of the illuminated minds was, we as spirits evolve, we change. But the question is, are we ready to change? We want to change. We want things to change. But when change comes, we don't know what to do. We are stressed out. We become very stressed. How can we listen to our inner nature and go hand in hand with the gradual or sometimes apparently sudden changes that happen in our lives without being troubled and stressed? These are many questions that we're going to ask here at Kardec Radio today, and we are going to have the loving presence of Dave Beale, who is the cast, one member of the cast of the film Change, the Life Particle Effect. He is the New York coordinator for Power Brain Education and a national brain educational trainer. Well, there's a lot more to tell about him, but I'll do that after the break when we open the line for him. For now, we want to remind you, before we kickstart the program with our message, we want to remind you of a beautiful event that is planned to begin in 2 weeks, August 24th and 25th in Atlanta, Georgia. We know there is a beautiful event, the 6th Atlanta Spiritist Conference. It's a 2-day conference that is happening in Atlanta, Georgia, and many great speakers are going to be there. Besides the great speakers, we would like to share with you that Haroldo Dutra Dias from Brazil, the renowned scholar, is going to be there. And if you want to know more information and register for the event, we would recommend that you go to their website, www.spiritistconference.org. Also, the Canadian Spiritist movement is organizing Beautiful events this coming September. The renowned medium and speaker of all times in the Spiritist community, Divaldo Franco, is going to be in Toronto, Canada on September the 26th at 7 p.m. at the University of Toronto. He's going to be talking about the psychology of gratitude, one of the books that he received by the Spirit author Joanna DeAngelis. You know, for those who don't know Divaldo Franco, just go to divaldofranco.com and you're going to read much more about his amazing life. He's one of these missionaries in life that is changing the world. And the big deal here, besides everything he does, he never charges a penny for anything. He's 86 years of age, traveling around the world like a kid. What is the secret? He probably knows much more than us about the life particle effect and how to work around it. We want to recommend to you that you go to the website of the Toronto Spiritist Society to get to know more about the information. You need to reserve your seat. TorontoSpiritistSociety.org. And this September as well, Dr. Andrew Moreira, who is actually a physician, a very renowned physician from Brazil. He is also a homeopathic physician. He's coming to the United States and to Canada. He's going to be touring around several cities, including ours here in Chantilly, Virginia. He's going to be here as well in Baltimore, Maryland, as well as New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Toronto. In Toronto itself, he's going to be there talking about homosexuality from the point of view of the immortal spirit and much, much more. You want to know more about information? Just go to the website of the Toronto Spiritist Society. Let me make just a correction here. The title I gave of one of his talks is actually elsewhere. In Toronto, he's going to be speaking about self-love, a healing path, which is the same theme he's going to be speaking here in Chantilly, Virginia. In Baltimore, Maryland, we know he's going to be talking about healing and self-healing. And in other locations, we don't have a hold of the themes. But if you write Kardec Radio, we can always find out and share the news with you, because Kardec Radio is here to nourish your soul. Talk about nourishing. If you are in the area, in the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area, this coming Wednesday, come to the Spiritist Society of Virginia, because at 7:30 p.m., we're going to be screening the very movie we're talking to you about today at Kardec Radio. Change the life particle effect. We're going to screen the movie and discuss and bridge it up with the Spiritist teachings. You see how much is happening around the world? So if you by any chance or means think that this world is going downhill, on the contrary, many good things are happening. It's just a matter of attuning with the good things that are happening around the world. So talking about changes, we are always striving to reach love and peace. To set the tone for the program today, we have a beautiful message by the Spirit author, Joanna DeAngelis, through the medium Divaldo Franco. She tells us about how to be always in peace. If you want to get the CD or the book, which is entitled Living and Loving, just go to the bookstore, the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, and buy your copy today. After the break, Dave Bill is going to be here with us talking about energy, consciousness, the brain, the power in the brain, and how change is founded in this life particle effect.
Chapter 17. Always in Peace.
The violence that alarms mankind and bewilders the whole planet springs from the hidden aggressiveness within the hearts of people. It generates both instability and unhappiness. Any display of evil produces unexpected reactions that may lead to hopelessness and belligerence. Jesus advised, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation." It was a warning to remind us to keep a balanced attitude and attend to our duties. Whatever the circumstances you might be struggling against, keep your peace. Be stern, but avoid rudeness. Enforce discipline, but avert violence. Promote education, but oppose aggressiveness. Whatever you do, do it peacefully. When mistreated or suffering, hold your peace at all costs so that you may keep your tranquility. Jesus was always calm, ineffable, and serene, regardless of circumstances around him. Real peace is rooted in absolute confidence in God. Remain undisturbed, do all the good you can, and do not line up with those who complain, are violent, or unreasonable. Your peace reveals your life as much as the way you live affects the environment around you.
We will return to our program after these messages.
New release, Liberation. In this compelling narrative, Andre Luiz emphasizes the work of high-order spirits in the effort to convert the spirit Gregorio to the good, an effort that culminates with the unforgettable re-encounter with his mother, herself a highly evolved spirit, wherein he surrenders to the irresistible call of love. The book also contains information on how unhappy spirits act as they try to involve incarnates in their wiles. The spirit author tells of the intercession of high-order spirits on behalf of human beings, demonstrating the divine compassion that grants to all the blessed opportunity to free themselves by means of study, labor, and persevering service in the practice of the good. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Want Spiritus books for your children? At Edicei of America, you will find a collection of them. From the best-selling book, Our Father, in which the Spirit Mei through Chico Xavier brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Adelson Sales on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand sections of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website, www.kardecradio.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Spiritism for Everyone, the online study of Spiritism. This year with the in-depth study of the book Genesis by Allan Kardec. Join us every Wednesday evening through the web from any computer or mobile device, no matter where you are in the U.S. or the world. Spiritism for Everyone is free, open to all, and requires no registration. For more information, go to www.spiritus.us. Spiritism for Everyone is a program of the United States Spiritist Council.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here live directly from the Chantilly, Virginia studios at Kardec Radio to talk about change. Can humanity change? Actually, should we change? Why should we change? How do we change? How does this happen? Many questions that we're all striving to achieve an answer, and this film, Change the Life Particle Effect, addresses it with scientific knowledge and also with experts in the field who also share their own exercises, dynamics, how to make it practical in our lives. The fact of the matter is, if we resist to change, we get into chronic stress, and that's exactly what's happening in society nowadays. What is happening to all of us? To help us address this and understand more about this movie that is just coming about, we have here with us Dave Bill. He is the New York coordinator for Power Brain Education and a national brain education trainer. Before coming to this program on Power Brain Education, he taught elementary school in Brooklyn and Freeport, Long Island. After teaching in a challenging urban school, he discovered brain education training as means to maintain a healthier, happier lifestyle and become a more effective teacher. After taking an introductory BE for Teachers Workshop, he began implementing brain education in the classroom and had an amazing success in promoting improved academic achievement, confidence, self-esteem, emotional control, and focus with his students. It's unbelievable. His curriculum is amazing. He has a vision to help every school in the U.S. become a Power Brain school, which promotes health, happiness, peace, and optimal achievement for each member of the school community. He has led brain training education sessions and lectures at the United Nations and has led multiple workshops for several different New York City principal unions like the CSA and the NYCESPA. He has been traveling around, speaking about, coordinating several different events, and he, in 2009, co-founded the first Power Brain Training Center in Bayside, Queens, to support the physical, emotional, and cognitive health of families in the Bayside community. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and his Master's in Education from Pace University with honors, both of them. He's a licensed brain education instructor and trainer, and he's here with us to delight our minds with the good news that change is possible. How it is possible. He is part of the film Change the Film. Thank you so much, Dave, for being with us today at Kardec Radio.
Vanessa, thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited about it. When we got to know that this film was coming about and is talking about the fact that we have potential to change, that reality is changeable, we got very excited about especially the fact that it talks about our own physiology being prone to change. But Dave, what is this film? What would you say for the listeners, since you've been part of the film, what is this film all about?
Sure. So first, I just want to thank you, Vanessa, for having me on the show today, and I'm very impressed with the radio show that I've heard, and really excited to get this message out to your audience.
Great, thank you.
The film is called Change the Life Particle Effect, and it's very simple. And so I think that lends itself to being very powerful. It's a documentary film, a little less than an hour long, that approaches this topic of change. How can we change our life? How can we change our physical health, our emotional health, our mental health? How can we activate our full potential to create the life that we really, truly want? So it's both entertaining. It's very kind of fast-paced and very informative and entertaining documentary, but at the core of it, what I find it to be is extremely empowering and very inspiring. So it kind of gives us a blueprint for how we can, create this change that we want in our life.
That's amazing. But as you're talking about the message of the movie, you would say that the main message is about change. But change is something that people want to experience, but they have a hard time experiencing it because at the same time we want it, we resist it. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I think that the most simple message from the film is that you can do it. You can do it. You can change. We all have that innate power. And then all of the tools and concepts that are introduced in the film support that kind of underlying belief that we have that power to change, that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent. All the conditions in our life are just the result of our previous life history, and that if we're able to change our mind and change our behaviors and habits, then everything in our life can also change. So the film introduces some very simple tools, meditation, self-development tools, to help to tap into that power that we already have. So actually, it's certainly not a new message, right, about our ability to change. But what I think I really appreciate about the film is it kind of picks up where other kind of popular films like The Secret, that introduced the law of attraction and the idea of consciousness, that we're really in control of our destiny. But what I find kind of even enhances that message is the simple tools that we can use to actualize, these concepts of consciousness, of the law of attraction into our life. And it's delivered in a way that's very easy, so that we don't have to be, as knowledgeable as you, for example, as a neuroscientist. Anyone can understand very simply from the film, how we can, put these tools into practice to really create meaningful change in our life.
That's so interesting you're mentioning this. We want to remind the listener that if you want to call in or ask a question to Dave Bill about this and things that he actually is an expert about the techniques he uses at school, please call us at 858-769-4705 or ask us your very question in the Blog Talk Radio chat room. We are here, or our email at kardecradio@gmail.com, or our Facebook page. We are here open, live, to talk to you about this movie and much more. Now, Dave, let us go a little bit further down some of the message, the main parts of the message that you're talking about. Though the message is not new, but it's approached in a different way compared to other things that have been released. I recognize it, and there is a spirit author named Dr. André Luiz through Chico Xavier. He wrote a book named Evolution into Worlds, in which he says we need repetition to really change our conditioning. So we would say, though the message seems similar, it's approached in a different way, especially when it emphasizes the role of our brain in our changes. I recall one sentence by Neale Donald Walsch in the movie when he says the brain is the transformer of God. Can you tell us more, because you're the expert on techniques on how to empower our brains and change our lives?
Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right, Vanessa, that the quote that you mentioned about needing repetition to change our conditioning. So that's really at the core of it. That's what it is. It's our conditioning and it's our habits. And what we've learned from neuroscience about neuroplasticity and neurogenesis and our fundamental ability to change the way that our brain and body works really just supports what actually Neale Donald Walsch talks about in the film. He says, this concept of life particles is really supporting something that mystics have known since the beginning of time, that we have the ability to enhance and upgrade our consciousness to create what we want. And definitely the medium that this training utilizes to explain this is the brain. Obviously, the brain is the center of our life. Everything in our life occurs through the brain. I think in Western society it's very easy to kind of compartmentalize our life and kind of just think of the brain as just our logic and analysis and, this kind of intellectual understanding of the brain. But actually, our emotions, our relationships, our physical health, everything in our life is through the medium of our brain. And so the quote that Neale Donald Walsch that you mentioned, Vanessa, is about the transformer. So I think that's it's a great point that he makes. He says, the brain, it's like an electrical transformer in that it's taking these electrical impulses, this kind of immaterial matter, and then through the brain is converting them and transforming them into material, into things. So that's really the power that we have. I think that's a very, great image of how we can understand the power of our brain as a transformer.
Yes, and specifically in your area, since you're also in this film and you talk about what you've been doing in that regard, it reminds me of a teaching that we read in the Spirit's Book by Allan Kardec. It's question and answer 685, when he mentions about education being the acquisition of new habits. And that's basically what you are doing in your program. Can you tell us, because education is fundamental for the transformation of society. We need...
That's right.
So can you tell us about your experience as a brain trainer, what you do in education, so people can picture a little bit more how
Absolutely.
it happens?
Yeah, I love that. I love that definition of education as cultivating new habits, because that's really what it's all about. And again, the key to that is how we use our brain. So in the system of brain education, we have a very simple 5-step system that we follow. And we talk about this a little bit in the film. So the first step we call is brain sensitizing. So that's really awakening the connection between the brain and the body. So at times it's easy to kind of forget that our brain is part of our body. So through simple exercise, mind-body exercise, we're able to improve the coordination and circulation of blood and oxygen and energy to the brain. So the more sensory awareness we have, then the more we're able to kind of use our brain power. So that's kind of the first step, actually, is connecting the brain and the body. And then in this film, because we're talking about changing habits, we really emphasize the second step of brain education, which is called brain versatalizing, making the brain more flexible, more adaptable. So this is where we're introducing, from an exercise standpoint, doing things that are very challenging. So I think I have the best job in the whole world because I get to play all day long. So I manage 2 centers in New York, and one, as you mentioned, in Bayside in Queens, and then the other, for any of your listeners who know much about New York, we have Long Island, which is about 25 miles east of New York City, in a small town called Syosset. I have another Power Brain Center there. And I get to work with children and with their families, and also with teachers in the school setting, learning how to bring these concepts and these tools into the classroom setting. And the versatalizing exercises are ways to really introduce neural flexibility into the brain. So doing, for example, coordinated activities with both hands at the same time, doing these very kind of challenging exercises where you can really feel, wow, this feels so difficult. I'm so uncoordinated. I can't, you kind of feel that little bit of frustration. And what I love about it is that's actually a metaphor for our life. Just these simple exercises where you're integrating the left and right hemispheres of the brain through these new kind of tactile exercises, it's actually, you're experiencing that kind of a little bit of frustration, or a little bit of, I'm not good at this, or I haven't quite caught the rhythm of this yet, so it's not comfortable to me. So that's actually the perfect message that I want all of my students and all of us to understand is, to really change, it's very obvious, but to really change, we can't continue doing things in a comfortable way that we've done habitually. So we need to really step out of that kind of comfort level and really challenge ourselves and try these new things. And then we can feel, if I keep practicing, if I keep a positive mindset, if I relax myself and I give a good message to myself that I can do it, I'm doing a good job, then I can improve step by step. And then before you know it, you look back and you see, wow, I did it. So it's building that confidence, it's building those new synapses in the brain that I'm able to really change from something very small, like a simple exercise, to something gradually, larger and larger, like my habits and my patterns in my life. I have many students come to me, and they're very shy, for example. They're very, they're kind of terrified to speak in their class. Or, adults, the same thing. That's actually one of our number one fears in this country is the fear of public speaking, right? So it's very empowering because there's so many of us who have, some really great things to say, really great messages to share, but then they don't feel confident, to express themselves. So
That's
watching
wonderful.
them step by step, let go of those limiting factors, those kind of, for years maybe they've been telling themselves, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not, I can't do what she does or what he does, that's not for me, that kind of negative self-talk. actually seeing them understand that that's not reality, that it's not true what they've been telling themselves. It's just the habit of what they've been experiencing. And then that they have the power to kind of shut that voice off and to choose a different voice. No, I can do this. I believe in myself. I love myself. I'm confident. I'm strong. To see them choosing a different perspective about themselves. Actually, in the film, there's a really great scene with it shows a life particle workshop that was held in the Mago Retreat Center in Sedona, and these are all adults who have previously had no kind of training through brain education before, and it shows them kind of through the process of taking this workshop. And there's one participant named Rob, and he's this really sweet guy, and he's explaining that he talks about his experience of when he was a child, kind of looking back as a child, and that he was really the perfect child. He was just this innocent and sweet and pure, loving child, with the whole world in front of him. And then, through his life experiences, his parents got divorced, and he grew older and had these different societal pressures and things along the way that really made him lose that connection with himself. So he talks about, the stress of life and, the emotions and memories kind of taking him, kind of away from himself, from his, his essence of who he really is. And that through this very, short, it was actually just a 2-day workshop that the film kind of chronicles, he was really able to come back and, reconnect with that power inside. So that's really the power of our brain, to be able to take a step back and to see as an observer, kind of observing ourselves. In the film, Ilchi Lee, the producer of the film, he introduces a couple of very simple and powerful concepts, and one of them is the concept of the observer consciousness. So really taking a step outside of yourself and really observing objectively and seeing, I'm feeling emotional right now, or I'm lacking confidence right now, or I'm feeling tension in my body right now. So as an observer, really being able to see clearly what's happening inside of myself, and
That's
then
great.
getting to the point that they call the 0 point, which is where you can objectively see things very clearly. So again, all of these techniques and tools are things that we're able to use through this kind of training our mind and training our brain. So that's kind of, I think, the very powerful tools from the film.
That's beautiful. Dave, we're going to give a short break, but when we come back, we have a question from a listener, and we're going to address that. Thank you. I'll be right back with you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Vanessa.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Getting to the Light, Spiritist Therapy for Discarnate Spirits is a small book that offers guidance to Spiritist practitioners and Spiritist counselors. Purchase your copy at www.ssbaltimore.org.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on a previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand section of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website at www.kardecradio.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Help prevent suicide by reading and sharing these books with others. 2 great books are available to help in this Kardec Radio campaign to prevent suicide. Suicide, All You Need to Know, by the international Spiritist speaker Richard Simonetti. You can buy your copy at www.roundtablepublishing-uk.com. Also, Memoirs of a Suicide by the medium Yvonne Pereda. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Kardec Radio, live every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Kardec Radio now offers more programs during the week and weekends. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can follow the beautiful program God at Home with Francisca Kranz and the British Spiritist community. They will brighten your days by doing a God at Home meeting wherever you are in the world, while teaching you how to do the same in your own home with your family and friends. Every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will hear incredibly inspirational Spiritist talks directly broadcasted by Spiritist Network. They will be true educational moments to carry out to immortality. Every Saturday, live interviews, Bridging Health and Spiritism with the host Dr. Vanessa Anceloni. You may ask questions to the interviewed guests by calling 858-769-4705. And every Sunday, tune in the Spiritist Awareness at Kardec Radio. You will hear a series of segments on a diversity of Spiritist topics. Kardec will broadcast the Spiritist Moment with Kirsten DeMello, the reading of the Spiritist book by John DeRosa and Steve Shepard, Spiritism in Your Life with Drs. Marco and Joyce Magalhães, Spiritism and the Gospel with Luis Sergio Marotta, Spiritist Education for Youth and Children with Bernadette Leal, Spiritist Music with James Marotta, Neuroscience and Spiritism with Dr. Vanessa Anceloni, and many more segments coming soon. Enjoy it all and nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we're here live from Chantilly, Virginia studios at Kardec Radio to talk to you about change. Change is something that is imperative to evolution. We all strive to change, but at the same time, when change presents itself to us, we don't know what to do. And Dave Beale is here with us to tell us more about this film named Change, the Life Particle Effect, that talks about change. There are many experts in the field, from neuroscientists to educators, who are in this film to tell us about how to promote this change. You can go to the website change-film.com and get to know more about this. You can bring a screening to your organization, or you can buy the DVD and stream at your house with your family. Sometimes we want to see the changes in our own family and we don't know how. There you go. The movie is really, I tell you from my own experience, it is really encouraging, to say the least, inspirational, and has hands-on practices that you can bring to your daily lives. We're talking about energy, consciousness, and the brain, as Neil Donald Walsh talks about in this very film. The brain is the transformer of God. Dave Beale is here with us as he's part of the cast of the film. He has been a great national brain education trainer. He has a lot to share with us. We're talking about empowering life. Dave, as we are talking, you were talking about techniques to bring together the brain, the body, etc. Actually, they are connected, but we have been living in a split society, let's say the much Cartesian, in which we have this illusion that things are disconnected. So would you say that this technique that you use and the message of the movie is helping us reconnect with our true nature?
Yes, no, that's a really great way to say that, Vanessa. It's really true. And the answer is really inside of us. I think that's the very empowering message, and actually that's the essence of education as well, right? The kind of drawing out that perfect essence that we have inside of us. So, in the film, just introducing some techniques to get back to ourselves, to find ourselves again. I think that's actually the most empowering part, is that I can do it, you can do it, all of us can do this. Those simple meditation techniques. In the film, we introduce a very, very cool meditation technique called magnetic meditation, using magnets as a way to kind of purify the energy field in our body and brain. And then we have life particle meditation, all very simple things that we can do to come back inside of ourselves in a very neutral and kind of relaxed place where we can view ourselves objectively, and then feeling that harmony inside of us, then we can really choose from that more master consciousness, not from the kind of victim consciousness or kind of this, negative emotion or stress. So instead of reacting to those stressful situations in the outside world and letting that dictate our actions, coming inside to that pure essence, and then from there being able to choose from that master consciousness. Then we can, choose well. We can make the choices, the decisions, and then have the coordinated power to make those come true in our life.
So we have here Jay from Hawaii. He is asking us at the chat room of Kardec Radio questions that I'm not sure are addressed in this movie, so don't feel like you have to. But some of the questions he asks is about changes, and he said the first one is, in what years of our life the greatest spiritual change occur? Is there such a thing?
In what years of our life? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because later he says it happens in our 30s and 40s. Is that something?
Well, that's a great question. And I think one answer is actually there's no one exact answer for all of us, that we're all very unique. But certainly as we get into adulthood and we start to, go through our life and experiences changes with our family and our work and that kind of thing, I think it's very normal for us to start to seek some kind of higher purpose in our life and start asking, questions about why am I here? What am I really here to do? Am I just here to make money? Am I just here to, raise my family? What's kind of the purpose of my life? So those kind of, fundamental questions that start to create, that will and that desire to change and to kind of actualize some kind of deeper potential that maybe up to that point in my life it has been hidden. But I think what's very exciting about this film and about the training of brain education is actually at any age we can change. I think we have kind of a stereotypical view of what we're able to do as we get older, that we feel that they have the old. I really don't like this expression about you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
That's kind of
that's not true.
Actually it's really not true, and it's a pretty damaging myth, because if we accept that and we say, oh, well, I'm this age, then I can't change. But the reality is it's not our age or even our genetic makeup or our past history. It's really our lifestyle. So if we're able to incorporate, these methods and really, if we're exercising well, if we're breathing well, if we're doing meditation, if we're, really trying to create really great relationships with all the people around us, then certainly we're going to create those positive changes. So I think, the empowering answer is that at any age, we can really change our life. The core point is it's really up to our choice. If we really choose that I want to make the change, that's in the film we talk, Ilchi Lee introduces the concept of BOSS, the brain operating system. And there's 3 simple principles for the brain operating system. And the first one is, if you choose, it will happen. Right? So it's really about making that conscious choice that I want to change, and then really feeling every day, I really keep choosing that I want this change in my life. Then you have the motivation to really make it happen. So I think that can happen at any point in our life.
It's so interesting you're saying this, because often we see people coming from spiritual background and they really focus on the spiritual, they forget about the body, And it's so interesting because in the Spiritist literature, the Gospel According to Spiritism, Kardec has a beautiful chapter talking about take care of body and spirit. And body comes first. For us who are incarnated, it's like inevitable. If we don't take care of our body, we're not going to be here, which is imperative for our growth. So this movie really rescues. That's how I see it. The film rescues that. It brings it all together, saying, "Look, it's important to take care of spirit, consciousness, etc. But we need to use the tool, the body, and take care of it to really go another level." Is that correct?
Yeah. that's more than correct. I think that's really important. I mean, the body, this is our vessel, right? This is, before we can really talk about cultivating a kind of, the essence of ourselves and our soul and our brain, all of these kind of things. The reality is the body is what's kind of energizing all of these things. So the better we take care of our body, then the better we're able to feel our true self, the better we're able to feel our brain and utilize our brain power. But the opposite is also true. If we're sick, if we're tired, if we're don't have good energy circulation, then it's also very hard to feel those beautiful things about us. So that's what I love about this practice. It's completely integrated. So with the children, we have a cheer that we say healthy body, happy heart, power brain, I can do it.
Wow.
At the end of the class, we have this kind of, empowering cheer. So it's about taking good care of my body, making myself really strong, and then I can open my heart and feel confident and feel loving and feel passionate, and then really open up my brain so I can feel creative and focused and really go for it and really achieve my goals. So definitely the body connection is very important for that.
And Dave, the question here is, this movie is subtitled The Life Particle Effect. What does this mean?
Sure. It's very simple. It's just energy. Life particles, it's the fundamental building block of what we are, and it's the life energy of the universe. It's very, very simple, but by kind of talking about energy in the way the film does and introducing, for example, a picture of the life particle sun that L.T. Lee introduces, we're able to really visualize this tiny unit, the building block of my life, and then start to take ownership of that energy, that it's not only random, that actually through my consciousness, through my thoughts, through my emotions, I'm affecting the energy inside of my body. So it's a very empowering concept of what energy is. And, that through these tools, I can really purify this energy and use it to achieve the goals that I want. So I think that's kind of the core message of change, is using the life particle training to really purify, this energy inside of me as the observer, kind of observing my life and seeing what do I really want to change, and then having that kind of confidence to go forward and use that energy to change my life in a positive way.
That's interesting. We have here with us, she says at the Blog Talk Radio chat, Ametista from United Kingdom. Thank you for writing to us. And she asks a question regarding mental illness and how we can ward off mental illness with some form of change or spiritual change. How do you think this life particle theory fits in that case?
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful, very, very important question. Actually, in the center, we teach a program called Brain Education for Successful Aging, and as with the understanding that as we get older, we need to take really good care of ourselves, of our physical health, our emotional health, and our mental cognitive health. So, it's very, very exciting what we're learning from neuroscience and from researching the brain, that as we get older, if we maintain an active and positive and vibrant lifestyle, then we're really able to not only not get sick, right, but change that, kind of flip that. So instead of, that's kind of a fear-based way that our society looks at it, at the aging process, that, we're going to get sick and we're going to, we're going to lose the ability to, use our body, and we're going to, dementia is going to be inevitable, and all of these things. So there's a lot of fear around the aging process. And what I love about this philosophy and this practice is, listen, you can be at age 80. I have members who are in their 80s who are doing push-ups and running and up and down the stairs and leading meditation circles in their community. And, the real fundamental point here is, if you really have a vision, if you have a mission for your life, and you feel full of passion about sharing that mission with other people around you, then your brain and body will respond in kind. They will, you'll create the energy that you need to go out and do the work to make that vision come true. So I think that's actually the key, is that as we get older, it's not just a physical thing why people start to atrophy. It's actually they lose their kind of purpose. They lose their vision. You see it all the time with people when they retire from their work. You know, they've spent their life working so hard for this kind of this occupation, and then they have that removed, and then they start to get sick because they don't replace that with another purpose. So I think that's really the important part for all of us, is being excited about our life and being motivated that we have this higher kind of calling, that I need to use my energy. I need to, I joke with my students and the instructors. I say, oh, we're too busy to get sick, right? I can't get sick because if I'm sick, who's going to teach the class, right? So if we're passionate about what we're doing, then, we're able to not only ward off mental illness or physical illness, but keep our brains so flexible every day, learning something new, being excited about the learning process, being confident about our ability, that we're able to not only not get sick, but we're able to do more and more as we get older.
That's fascinating. And in this film, it talks much about techniques also related to meditation, something that neuroscience itself has proved. And I remember in 2006 at the Convention Center in Washington, D.C., when the Nobel Prize Eric Kandel and others brought in for a keynote address the Dalai Lama when he, as a main collaborator of neuroscientists around the United States and the world, he was talking to us about the power of meditation, and neuroscience proves to us that it's a physiological mechanism that we can boost and live a healthier life. And this is something also to do with empowering the brain, correct?
Yeah, it's a completely correct. So through the meditation, through breathing, through this very simple process of coming back to yourself, physiologically, you're able to come back to that balance in your body. Our life with external stressors and those kind of outside conditions, it's very normal for us to experience stress in our body and mind. And the meditation is kind of the antidote for that, where we're able to come inside and really feel those layers of tension and stress melting away, and then really start to heal what I need to heal in my body and my mind. And then once we're at that point, that kind of very empty and beautiful space where we feel that harmony inside of us, then the kind of meditation that I think is the most valuable and the most empowering is not only about taking away that stress, but once we've done that, then what? Then what's the next step? Well, clearly the next step is I need to have a picture for my life. I want to see a vision for myself achieving the things that I really want. And I think that's the most beautiful part of meditation, is really visualizing everything happening the way that I want, and not listening to that kind of negative self-talk and that victim consciousness and those things, but really indulging in that very luxurious dream of everything happening the way that I want. So, Albert Einstein would talk about, before he ever had any kind of invention, he would try it out in his workshop first, and meaning in his mind, right? The way we term it is mind screen. This like a movie screen in my mind, visualizing step by step everything happening the way that I want, achieving my goals, living up to that person that I really want to be. So I agree wholeheartedly with the Dalai Lama and with all the. I think there's just so much research that supports the health and emotional benefits and the mental benefits of meditation. So it's very common sense, and I'm really excited that I think films like this and radio shows like yours, that really getting this message out to more and more people with these simple techniques they can use to improve their health and their life.
Yes. Dave, we'll give a last break, but when we come back, the ultimate questions about who can be helped at this by this film, and especially how this can help, and the special message of the film for parents and children, okay?
Great.
All right.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Books of Andre Luiz. Through the hands of the most prolific medium of all times, Chico Javier. The spirit doctor Andre Luis wrote a series of books that unveil the mechanisms of life and life after life. From the best-selling novel No Solar, Our Home, to And Life Goes On, the reader will find illumination for a fulfilled life on Earth as well as immortal happiness. Check the many titles available at the international distributor, EDI CEI of America. Their website is www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Spiritist Network, your gateway to on-demand Spiritist videos. www.spiritistnetwork.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio. Traveling to another country? Immigrating elsewhere? Prepare yourself by reading the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, in which several loving and wise spirits wrote through the hands of Chico Xavier and Waldo Vieira, telling all of us the tips and hints of a successful transition to a new land. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Do you want Spiritist books for your children? At Edicei of America, you'll find a collection of them, from the best-selling book Our Father, in which the Spirit Mei through Chico Xavier brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Edailson Salles on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, I think at this point we feel the change already in our lives, because it brings so much hope to all of us, knowing how science and spirituality can lead us into a much better life. It says, as Allan Kardec says in the Gospel According to Spiritism, we need to take care of body and spirit together. Take care of spirit alone is not going to do the deal, because we're incarnated. We need the precious body, and the body has much to offer to us as a great instrument for change and transformation. Dave, you are here with us telling about this great film, Change the Life Particle Effect, and it has a beautiful message that is very tangible and practical to all. But who do you think can be helped by the film?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very easy answer. So I think everyone. Yeah, I think all of us. And actually anyone, I think just like anything else, whoever wants it the most is going to find the most benefit from it. But anyone who really wants to live a healthier, happier, more peaceful, more productive life, anyone who wants to change an aspect of their life will really find the empowerment and the inspiration and the tools to do that, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Dave, as you work mostly with education, which I think is imperative for transformation in our society today, to go back to the roots of our society, preparing the new generation, would you say in this film we have a special message for families, parents, and children?
Certainly. So I think, as you mentioned before, all of us want that change to really begin with our family. And we talk about world peace and these kind of things, but actually the world is just a collection of individual families and coming together as one human family. So certainly that change, the first place we want that change to occur is within our family. And I'm also a father. I have a beautiful 12-year-old son and a beautiful wife that I can't begin to explain how grateful I am for them and all that they teach me and everything. And I really feel that the importance of really beginning with our family. And Actually, my wife was the one who first introduced me to this practice over 10 years ago.
Wow.
And my son, I'm so lucky. My son is able to. I call him my assistant manager in my center because through these trainings, he's developed a lot of confidence and works with the younger kids in my center as an assistant instructor, and really kind of integrates these principles for them. So I think the key, that I really want all of us to know is that, that change within our family, it's really possible. And that, anything in our family, any dynamic that, that has been there, maybe it's arguing or, some difficulty to connect with one of your children or even with your parents as an adult, your parents or your brothers or sisters. I see that all the time where the family starts to break apart. And it's, you have the ability to really help to reconcile things and harmonize things within your family. And that change starts from yourself. So that's, I think, the very important message, that when we're able to really create that health and happiness within us, then naturally we know what to do to create that harmony with the other people around us. And so as parents, I think it's really our responsibility to take good care of ourselves. And then we're naturally going to be able to help our children, help our parents, help our brothers, our sisters, our uncles, our aunts, help all of us to have that same harmony as a family unit as well.
That's so important. You're saying something that we rarely hear. People usually think that good parenting is the one in which you forget about yourself and take care of others, and it's totally not true, right?
That's right. That's right. No, we're brought up that way, to sacrifice everything for our kids. But actually, our children are our mirror. That's really, really true. Our children are our mirror. And then if we really want to help our children change, we need to change. If we want our kids to eat broccoli, we need to eat broccoli. If they see us eating junk food and then we tell them to eat broccoli, they're not going to do it, right? So it's those simple kind of things. But emotionally, spiritually, mentally, everything. If we're really living these principles in our life, then it's naturally sharing with our kids, and then our kids, they want to emulate those same things in their life. So it's not about telling them what to do. It's about really sharing that energy with them. And then they want to naturally, they want to create those positive changes in their life too. It's just kind of common sense. That's how we live. We're healthy. We're happy. We're peaceful. We're confident. Those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's so beautiful. It makes so much sense what you're saying because, again, Kardec mentions to us that parenting is not a difficult job. It's just about really sharing, and that's exactly what you're saying. And sometimes it becomes very intense because we want our children to be one thing, but we are different. We're the opposite. So it becomes quite difficult because we have to educate ourselves first. And just one more question in that regard, since you have the experience professionally and in your private life. Dave, nowadays, one of the most critical parts of family life is adolescence. And parents really have a hard time dealing with the growth of our children into the preteen, teen years. How would you say, from the brain educational program that you promote, how can we overcome these obstacles and really make it easier?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. So I think when we give our children the tools of, physical management, stress management, emotional management, brain management, really seeing that they're empowered, to be in charge of their health and their life. If we give them that confidence and we trust them, and then we're doing the same, that we're taking care of ourselves, we're doing meditation, we're letting go of our emotions that are going to hold us back, and approaching the situation from a fresh perspective. If we're doing those things, then these transitions can be beautiful. Of course, there's always going to be stress, always. Our life will always have stress, but it's more about what we do when that stress presents itself. Do we escalate it? Do we de-escalate it? And then through these training, both for the the child that's transitioning into teenage years and into adulthood, and for their parent that's also being part of that transition. If we use those self-development tools along the way, then it can be a celebration and it can be beautiful, and we can support each other. And then I think if we can take the emotional kind of coming back to that 0 point, that very balanced kind of harmonious place where we let go of the resentment and the something that's happened in the past, and really focus on what do I want. I want a great relationship with my daughter. I want a wonderful relationship with my son. I really want them to be empowered. Kind of really meditate. Every day I encourage my parents, meditate on your child. Really see what you really want for them and for you and for your family, and then just work towards that. But keep that vision of what you want. And instead of reacting to the stress and, getting caught up in, where your child is right now, keep encouraging them lovingly and supporting them to get to that point where you want them to be. And then you'll find, actually, that's my growth too. My child is my best teacher. They're teaching me how to be more loving, how to be more patient, how to let go of my need for control, how to let go of my need to try to teach them something rather than just sharing this energy with them. So it can be a beautiful experience for both, for the child, for the parent, and just have the mindset every day is going to be better than yesterday. Every single day is a new adventure, and just feeling that gratitude for having this person in my life as my teacher and my companion. So I think if we can keep that kind of positive mindset and that hopeful mindset, then our actions are different. We don't start to bicker. We don't get caught up in those kind of simple things that turn into big things. We're able to see it more objectively of what it is and kind of let those small things go and focus more on what we want, and then we get more of what we want. We get more of what we focus on. So just, you can do it. That's my message to the parents. You can do it. Don't worry. You can do it. And everything is there for a reason. Your daughter is there as your mirror to help you and you to help her really be the best that you can be. You can do it.
That's beautiful. Dave, we have really enjoyed being with you this time, talking about what you do and how you've been part of this great movie that I think is not only entitled Change, but is promoting change. And would you have a final message for the listener at Kardec Radio today?
Well, first I want to thank you, Vanessa, for having me here. I really love this space, and I think that the message is so simple that we can do it. We can create the life that we really want. I first found that out 10 years ago, teaching in Brooklyn, and the 5th lowest performing school in New York City, in the midst of an amazing amount of stress, and the kids going through so much in their life. And by introducing these simple tools in the classroom, I saw miracles take place with my students and with myself. And from that day forward, every day has been this beautiful journey of kind of discovering new things about myself and the world. And if I can change, anyone can change.
Anyone can change.
Anyone can change. I think that's the message, is that, this is very empowering and very simple and very hopeful, that we have that hope for, and if we change, our family changes, then our world changes.
You're so right. Dave, just in case people want to contact you directly, is there a website or a contact they can go directly to you?
Certainly. The website is called powerbraintraining.com. Powerbraintraining.com. And then if they'd like to email me, my email address is dbeal, B-E-A-L, at powerbrainedu.com.
Okay, beautiful. Again, thank you immensely for sharing this great news with us, for being here with us today, and for bringing so much hope that we can do it. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Keep us posted on everything good you do, okay?
Absolutely, I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, dear listener, you see, there is a lot for us to learn. And this is not the end, because actually, as Dave Beal said, he is telling this message that is in this film. Change the film, The Life Particle Effect. You can go to www.change-film.com, get to know more about it. This film is about a fresh perspective on our capabilities, things that often we don't use, and how we can live a much better life, transform ourselves, our families, our society. And the cast of the movie is fascinating. From Ilchi Lee, who is this author, educator, mentor, innovator that has developed great brain teaching energy principles, wrote 33 books, has been doing a great difference in the world. He's the founder of the International Brain Education Association. To the great Neale Donald Walsch, the author of amazing best-selling books, and amongst them, Conversations with God. Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist and professor at the University of Arizona, who promotes the scientific study of consciousness and the theories of the mechanisms of consciousness, to Dr. Mariel Hardman, who is the Assistant Dean for Urban School Partnerships and Chair of the Department of Interdisciplinary Studies at the Johns Hopkins University School of Education, and Melissa Kochi, Michael Munson, Dr. Lee, Dr. Gerald Merrick, who is also at Yale University, and our dear friend Dave Bill, who has been a national power brain education trainer in the United States, and now was just here with us at Kardec Radio. There's so much for us to know. Just go to the website, change-film.com, and watch the trailer. If you want, you can buy the DVD right there. And if you want, you can do even more. Screen the movie at your organization, because there is so much about everything we talk about Kardec Radio here. And we can't forget that this coming Wednesday, if you are in the Washington, D.C. and the Northern Virginia area, the Spiritist Society of Virginia is going to be screening the movie at 7:30 p.m. Just go to our website, www.ssvirginia.org, and get to know more about how we're going to do this. And there are other organizations that are also going to do the same, and you're invited to do it as well. We have here friends at the chat room of Kardec Radio. We're so kind and loving, and they have shared their comments. We want to read them for you because they are great comments as well. We have our dear friend George Cow, who just want to say hello and say thank you to Kardec Radio team for all your wonderful work. Thank you, George, for being so supportive of Kardec Radio always. And we have also comments about some of the things that Dave Bill said in a story that Ametista from the United Kingdom is sharing with us about that woman who asked Gandhi to tell her son to stop eating sweets. He actually asked the child to come back next week, and he actually had to stop eating sweets himself before he actually told the child of this woman to do the same. This is really about what Dave Bill was telling us. Parenting is not a big deal if we begin with ourselves. But if we want our kids to do something that is very different from ours and don't actually imitate us, which is in our nature because of the mirror neurons, it's going to be an unbearable and overwhelming task because we want them to do something and we're doing right the opposite. They're going to watch what we're doing, do what we're doing, and we want them to do differently. So education begins with us. As Allan Kardec says, education is the acquisition of new habits, and that's everything that this film is all about. Dear listener, we're here to nourish your soul. For today, we're not done yet. We still have one more feature, but we want to recall that this coming Sunday, we have the program Spiritist Awareness with all the segments that Kardec Radio's hosts are promoting, from Spiritist Moment with Kirsten DeMello to Youth Education on Spiritism with Bernadette Liao. We have Doctors Marco and Joyce Magalhães talking about topics on Spiritism in our lives. Luis Sergio Marotta talking about Spiritism and the Gospel. The Leo Vieira family telling us about the beautiful stories on the book Our Home, a music segment with James Marotta. We also have the segment on Listening to the Spirit's Book with Steve Shepard and John DeRosa, Listening to Happy Life, the book by Joana De Angelis and Divaldo Franco, Mental Health and Spiritism with Ricardo Bianco, and our segment, Spirituality and the Brain. And there's much more because there are more friends actually helping us. And follow to this Sunday. On Wednesday, we have Francisca Kranz and her group of friends from England and the United States, actually. They are doing a partnership and building towards a special day for Kardec Radio on Wednesday at 5 p.m. They are promoting this God at Home experience. It's fascinating, very practical. And on Thursday, Daniel Santos, the founder of the Spiritist Network website, actually brings to us great talks by international speakers that are going to be here every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. And in a week from today, we have a special program. We're going to talk about, Kirsten DeMello and I have a conversation about the best defense against obsession. If you want to know what it is, join us because we're going to be here, nourish your soul. That's why we're here. And to finalize the program today, a special invitation for you. You want to pray with us? Why not, right? Prayer is also a way to change our lives. It's much more than a ritualistic movement. It's a deep meditation and a conversation with God. God, whatever you name, the source, the power, it doesn't matter. What matters is the acknowledgement that we are not created out of the blue. We have been created, and there are many spirits that are being created as we speak, and we're sustained by this loving force of the universe that we name God. How about now, if we close our eyes, wherever you are, as Dave Bill reminded us, let us be fully aware of our connection with our physical bodies, acknowledging the loving work that the cells of our bodies are doing, sustaining this incarnation for us. Breathing in and nourishing with empowered oxygen all of our cells. Breathing out, learning to let go of what is not needed any longer. Breathing in, we are grateful to life. Breathing out, we let go of unneeded elements from our minds and bodies. And in this joyful moment, let us raise our thoughts to the Creator, loving Mother, Father of our lives. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here today, for having our health at all dimensions, to share thoughts, feelings, and hope with one another, and acknowledge life as your co-creators. How special it is for us to feel and to know that we are co-creating our lives, and to understand that you are so loving, dear Father, Mother of us, that you create us with full potential. You guide, protected us, and at the same time you give us free will, and you give us an opportunity to co-create. Thank you for bringing us this film and these great minds of the film Change, who worked hard to put together the awareness that we need to transform our lives for the better always. And we would like to ask you that this energy, these spiritual fluids that now envelop us all, nourishing our souls, can be shared as a banquet of light with everyone who is in great need in this planet. From plants to animals to human beings, may they receive this shower of empowering energy. And as it touches and penetrates them, they can breathe in a refreshed air that subliminally tells them that they can live a better life. With much to be grateful for and praise you for, may all the listeners at Kardec Radio feel this nourishment and share the good news that you are always caring for us, and there is always something else for us to learn and to grow. And so be it. Dear listener, we are joyful. We hope you're joyful too. Share with us your comments. Share with us your questions, your feedback. And just write to us. KardecRadio.com has a contact form, and you're going to win a t-shirt. I know you want to share your thoughts for the thoughts itself, but we want to be grateful for you as well. So write to us at Kardec Radio. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your suggestions, and we're going to be always here for you, nourishing your soul, because we're sharing the much that we have been granted in this life. See you next week when we're going to talk about the best defense against obsession. Many blessings, dear listener, and talk to you in a week.
Thank you for listening to Kardec Radio, broadcasting live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email us and share your comments at www.kardecradio.com. Until next time, we wish you many blessings.